More details on AJ Styles' expected appearance at TNA Slammiversary this weekend, with the company optimistic that Styles will wrestle at least one more match for the company in the future. AEW President Tony Khan recalls the AAA double cross regarding Dragon Lee signing with WWE and the expected partnership between the two companies. CM Punk reveals he had a handshake agreement with Vince McMahon in 2018 or 2019 for a WWE return before the then chairman ghosted him. Tony Khan gives an update on Adam Cole's AEW status after he vacated the TNT Championship at All In Texas. MJF puts out a challenge for a CMLL title. Pat McAfee explains his recent WWE absence. Mike Santana reveals that he asked for his AEW release 2 or 3 times before it was finally granted. Roman Reigns is advertised for several upcoming episodes of WWE Raw on Netflix. Jazz is going to be staying in TNA Wrestling as a backstage agent / producer. Jim Ross reveals he suffered a bad fall prior to his AEW All-In return. Cardi B, we've got an update on her plans for WWE SummerSlam later on next month, and more details on the new regime's plans for the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the very latest regarding the phenomenal TNA wrestling return of AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles is still being heavily teased for this weekend's TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view on Long Island at the UBS Arena. Anthem President Carlos Silva fueled the fire with a tweet using the word phenomenal in all caps, leading many to think that AJ Styles could make his first appearance in the company since 2013. Styles was a mainstay of the first decade of TNA before leaving at the beginning of 2014. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp blatantly asked Carlos Silva during an interview who he said he likes the word phenomenal and that it would be a phenomenal night. He heavily leaned in to the AJ Styles teases after being asked without outright saying it. Now, Fightful say they've asked internally about AJ Styles' status at Slammiversary. No one would give Fightful a definitive straight answer. However, one source said they believe that Styles would be there or else the teasers would be a gross misstep. Now, in addition to this report from Fightful Select saying that they believe that, according to their sources, that Styles will be there, John Alba has taken it one step further today. John Alba from The Takedown by Sports Illustrated is reporting that he has learned that a potential Styles' appearance at Slammiversary has been in the works for some time now and was a top priority for the upper brass within TNA. The expectation among several members of the roster is that Styles will indeed be at the UBS Arena for Slammiversary in some capacity. Now, while there was no indication given as to what specifically Styles would be doing on the show, multiple sources, according to Alba, express optimism that it would set up a future match for the company as part of the partnership between TNA Wrestling and WWE. Of course, AJ Styles showing up at Slammiversary would be a huge moment for the TNA and WWE partnership, since there has been no main roster involvement with TNA up until this point. Of course, AJ is a former 2-time TNA World Champion and has long held many other titles within TNA Wrestling. He was a mainstay for many years up until his departure, as I mentioned, back in 2014. Now, according to WrestleVotes Radio as well, there have been talks in WWE that 1 or 2 main roster stars could be headed to Slammiversary this Sunday. Of course, we get any more details than that as we get close to the event, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, an interesting story here from AEW President Tony Khan. Tony Khan has discussed being double-crossed by AAA Lucha Libre. Now, in December of 2022, Dragon Lee would announce a AAA show that he would be signing with WWE. However, there was an issue with this, as Lee had just taken part in a tag team match with AEW's FTR, with their names still being on the championships as Lee was announcing his signing. While speaking at a Q101 in a new interview, AEW President and CEO Tony Khan was asked about AAA and WWE's partnership, and he had an interesting story about how that whole double cross came together, as well as AEW's relationship with CMLL.
We spoke, it was announced that WWE had purchased AAA. I am just curious in terms of your business relationship with CMLL, how that might affect things.
It's great. It's a great thing. We started working with CMLL in 2023, and things have really, really looked up for us. I have a great relationship with Salvador, And I had not. Frankly, that's not unexpected to me. I'd kind of been expecting that ever since the way the Dragon Lee signing was announced on December 30th of 2022. From then on, I said, okay, then I think it's highly likely that's the way this thing's going, because that was certainly a big surprise to me. It's not like, FTR were there and they saw the WWE cameras and it's like, okay, something's up. I had not agreed to that, actually.
Take me through that situation.
Well, what we had agreed that FTR would go down and wrestle Rush and Mystico, and then something happened during the day where Dragon Lee was in there. I was up doing a show in Denver that day, and I remember I was with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe had a match that night. It was December 30th in 2022, and I talked to FTR, and they said there's some kind of strange stuff going on here. And then right after Dynamite ended, that match went off, and they announced that Dragon Lee was signing with WWE, and he still had FTR's name on the plate. So it was really a double cross.
Yeah.
And that would never happen now. That's one of those things that would never happen now.
It would never happen now because of the politics in Mexico, or because of the way that you
Salvador and I are brothers. I have a very close relationship with him. I don't believe he would ever betray me like that, and I would never betray him like that. And if we wanted to do something on a show, we would talk to each other. We wouldn't be making subs or changing stuff out or switching allegiances mid-show.
Very much so.
I don't think I've ever said that, but here, I think it's a good story for you and your audience, and I like you. So,
that's greatly appreciated.
Now, CM Punk, of course, he's back in WWE, made his return at Survivor Series in 2023. He'd been away from the company for 10 years, but there came a point when Punk met with former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon and Paul Triple H Levesque about a return pre-pandemic. While sitting down with Robbie Fox on My Mum's Basement, Punk revealed that in 2018 or 19, he met with McMahon and Levesque in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This was before the WWE Backstage on Fox gig came about. Punk's agents relayed to him that McMahon and Levesque wanted to chat, but Punk said McMahon was personally calling him to cut out the middleman. He added that they eventually came to a handshake agreement, but McMahon ghosted him. Looking back on that, Punk said it was the first time he and Levesque had hashed out any of their lingering issues. He said, quote, "I think the Twitter and internet perception is I tried to go back to WWE and they didn't want me, so I went and did the Fox show. That's not what happened at all. I had a hilarious clandestine meeting in the Borgata in Atlantic City with Vince and Triple H. I don't even know. What is it? It's 2025. This has to be 2018 or 19. And it's just because Vince just started calling. I had agents. They were telling me, hey, they want to talk to you. And I was like, whatever. I'm not interested. And then Vince just started calling me. He was like, hey, I'm eliminating the middleman. And I was just like, this is insane. And it just so happened that, oh, well, I'm going to be here. All right, we can get there, Okay, all right. We had a meeting and we had a handshake agreement, and then he ghosted me. So that's why it didn't happen. Unbelievable. I'm going to write a book someday. It's a great story. It's a fantastic story. Yeah, that would have been probably the first time that me and Triple H probably started chipping away at any problems or drama that we had in the past. That was the first instance. Yeah, I was open to a return at the time. I was very much just like, yeah, okay, pay me, whatever. I took some stuff personally, like years have gone by. All right, I'm over it. Recognize that it's a business. You don't want me to take it personally. Just pay me. So certainly an interesting story of what could have been in the past of Punk and a WWE return. Tony Khan has opened up on Adam Cole's AEW status. Of course, this comes after Adam Cole's injury announcement at AEW All in Texas. Cole was scheduled to defend his AEW TNT Championship against Kyle Fletcher on Saturday night, but the match never ended up taking place. Prior to the show, it was announced that Cole had been injured, vacating the TNT Championship, with the vacant title then being won by Dustin Rhodes later on during the show. Cole addressed the fans prior to the match, where he cut an emotional promo about his health, saying that he doesn't know if or when he would be back in action. Speaking on Good Karma Wrestling, Tony Khan commented on Adam Cole's injury status and how he's hopeful he will return in some capacity. He said, quote, "It was a hard conversation, but I'm glad he told me the truth, that he just didn't feel well. He was having trouble sleeping, he didn't feel good, and he was just not feeling like it would be a good idea for him to wrestle. And I agreed with that. I knew that it would be the right thing for Adam Cole, and it was what he wanted to do, to go out and speak to the fans from his heart and explain he wouldn't be able to wrestle. Even though we're all sad we don't get to see Adam Cole wrestle for a while, hopefully he will be able to return in some capacity, but definitely he needs time off after talking to him." It was later reported that Cole had indeed suffered a concussion on the Thursday episode of Collision prior to All In. MJF seemingly is going to be going back to Mexico. Maxwell Jacob Friedman sets his sights on the CMLL World Light Heavyweight title. To mentally and spiritually harm Mystico, MJF has challenged Averno to a future match for the CMLL World Light Heavyweight Championship. The challenge came on the July 16th episode of CMLL Informer. MJF started his promo by wearing the mask that he took from Mystico at AEW Grand Slam Mexico. He mentioned that he wants to take everything that Mystico holds dear. While no date was set for the future match, MJF is looking forward to putting the title belt around the waist of a true American hero. MJF has not let promotional boundaries stop him from getting his hands on Mystico. He returned to MLW and attacked his rival, MLW Summer of the Beast. That even led to a brief reunion with Alex Hammerstone. Mystico has also stated that he will not let promotional boundaries prevent him from getting his hands on the Devil. Of course, if we get any more details on a confirmation for this match, we'll let you know in a future video. Pat McAfee, he's opened up on his recent WWE absence. McAfee hasn't been on commentary for WWE since WWE Money in the Bank, first showing up absent on the June 9th episode of WWE Raw. McAfee previously explained that he was getting exhausted, which is why he took a step back. On Wednesday's Pat McAfee show, he further detailed his reason for stepping away from WWE. He said, quote, "I got really tired. I hit a wall. I've been going since Dublin. They started Raw early, and I'm like an energy guy. I don't need a lot of sleep. I just got to Money in the Bank in LA, and I was on the East Coast for TST. Then I went down to Paris Island. Then I went to LA for Money in the Bank, and I could just feel it. Oh my God, my brain is not operating right now. I talked to others that maybe experienced mental exhaustion before whenever they had it. I talked to them and been like, I'm just staring down what you went through. I knew this moment was going to happen at some point. It happens to people. I talked to people about it happening and what they went through when it happened. As Money in the Bank was happening, I was like, oh my God, this is it. I have finally hit it. I never thought it was going to happen. You added my daughter and wanting to be around, the Daily Show, the travel, also trying my best. I know not a lot of wrestling fans don't think this, but I was trying to put everybody over. Maximum effort every time, trying to put people over. I think that with the travel, me not getting back to 2 to 3 a.m. on a Monday, that's the beginning of our work week, Tuesday to Friday. I have 12 hours left of being on, he said. Now, McAfee said Nick Khan helped him get out of his WWE obligations. Asked how he got through the exhaustion, McAfee said, quote, "We still have to do a show. I stopped going to Monday Night Raw, so that took away 2 planes and a 2-hour sleep a night week away from the schedule. Stacked a couple of those weeks." He continued speaking on how the WWE product hasn't suffered without him. He said, quote, "Corey Graves so good, Wade Barrett so good. For me at the commentator position, the show moves on regardless. The ability to not feel absolutely fucking terrible for having to take a step back because I'm tired. WWE, on the other hand, they have such a hard work and travel mindset. They understand. They've been great. I will always love the WWE. I miss it, but I don't think I would have made it." Now, Mike Santana, he's opened up on his departure from AEW. Of course, he's having a thriving career in TNA wrestling. Mike Santana was one of the names with AEW from its early days. Santana was a featured wrestler during the early beginnings of AEW as part of the inner circle of Chris Jericho. Santana departed AEW in 2024 after not being used on television following his feud with Ortiz, whom he split with in 2023. Speaking to Errol Hawani on the Errol Hawani Show, Santana was asked why he left AEW. He said, quote, "I'm the type of person where I need constant growth in my life, especially in this line of work, any line of work. If we're not growing, what are we doing?" Ultimately, that was the case. A lot of unhappiness, a lot of things that I wasn't about. Ultimately, business is business. I'm a brand the same way they are a brand. I was like, I need to take care of my brand and I need to continue growing. This wrestling thing is my life. I dedicated everything to this. I'm also not the type of person that I can sit and collect a paycheck. That's not me. Never has been. It was about that time. There was no heat or hard feelings. It is what it is. That's the wrestling business. People come and people go. I looked at it as I need to do what's best for me, my career, my life, and my sanity. I did exactly that. Was I worried? Was there fear and stuff? Of course. I'm leaving a guaranteed paycheck of a lot of money. I have a family, but me having done the work for myself, I knew the work that I was willing to put in to get where I wanted to be. I'm in the main event at the UBS, he said. Asked if AEW tried to keep him, Santana replied, "I asked for my release multiple times. When I came back, I had the sort of feud and match with my ex-partner. After that, they stopped bringing me to TV. Yo, just get me out of here. I'm good. I asked 2 or 3 times, and they finally granted me my release, and I was like, thank you." Santana would sign with TNA back in April of 2024. Now, an update here on Roman Reigns, and here's the WWE schedule. Roman Reigns is advertised for the next 2 WWE Raw events. The WWE event schedule is currently advertising Roman Reigns for the July 21st and July 28th episodes of WWE Raw. These are the final 2 Raw events before WWE SummerSlam. July 21st episode of WWE Raw will take place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas, while the July 28th episode emanates from the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Reigns made his return to WWE television on Monday's WWE Raw, appearing at the end of the show to take out Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, who are aligned with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. After knocking both men out of the ring, the original Tribal Chief stood tall alongside Jey Uso and CM Punk. Monday was Reigns' first appearance on WWE television since the night after WrestleMania 41, when Reigns was taken out by Rollins and Breakker, who officially aligned with Rollins and Heyman later on that night. Reigns has not wrestled since WrestleMania 41, when he faced Punk and Rollins in a triple threat match in the main event of Night 1. Heyman betrayed both Punk and Reigns in the match, helping Rollins by standing by his side. Now, Jazz, she's set to stay around in TNA wrestling. Sean Ross Sapp interviewed Carlos Silva ahead of TNA Slammiversary this weekend and discussed some of the turnover in the company. Silva then revealed to Fightful some good news in the form of a retention. He said that former world champion Jazz has signed on to remain with TNA in a backstage agent/producer capacity. She rejoined TNA this year backstage after years of working with NWA. She also appeared in a Battle Royal match for the brand. In addition, she was present at WWE Evolution and has worked as a guest trainer at the WWE Performance Center. An update on the health of AEW commentator Jim Ross. Legendary announcer JR made his return to AEW at this past weekend's All In Texas pay-per-view, receiving a standing ovation for his first appearance since taking time off to undergo colon cancer surgery. Now cancer-free, good old JR was on hand to call the show's final 2 matches. However, Ross showed up at Global Life Field feeling worse for wear after experiencing a bad fall days beforehand. On a recent edition of his Grilling JR podcast, the 73-year-old spoke about the incident and how he's feeling now. He said, quote, "I'm still recovering from Dallas. I had a bad fall on Thursday night in my hotel room, and I was lucky. I wasn't down for the count, but I had a hell of a fall and soft tissue. I didn't break anything, I don't think, but I had a bad fall in my hotel room. And I didn't have my phone because, as you know, I'd left my phone in an Uber and I didn't have any way of communicating with anybody. I just went to bed and it was challenging." On how he feels days removed from the fall, Ross added, quote, "I was still sore to this very minute. I'm still sore, so it was quite the ordeal. That's the only negative thing I could say is that I had a bad fall and I survived it. I'm still sore as hell. The older you get, the slower you heal, and that's kind of my situation right now. Just slow to heal, but I'll make it. I'll be all right. It's not the first time that's happened to me." Now, an update here when it comes to Cardi B and plans for WWE SummerSlam. According to a new report, she is still planned for the PLE. Over the last couple of weeks, WWE has not promoted Cardi B hosting SummerSlam in New Jersey. This has led to quite a few people questioning the current status of Cardi B and if she'll even be at the show. Now, Fightful Select said they reached out to WWE sources in an official capacity, and Fightful were told that she's still set for the SummerSlam show, with the claim that nothing has changed. WWE has long been making plans for the event with her in mind. So, of course, if that changes, we'll let you know in a future video. And finally, an update on plans for the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame. A new TNA regime is upon us, but the TNA Hall of Fame will remain. The Hall of Fame has been a Bound for Glory tradition since 2012, but didn't take place in 2017 and 2019. Some inconsistent visions with changing regimes led to some years being off. However, that won't be the case this year. TNA President Carlos Silva spoke with Sean Ross Sapp ahead of this weekend's Slammiversary and confirmed that not only will it continue, but it will have an added focus. Specifically, Silva noted the hiring of executive producer George Veras, who worked with the NFL Hall of Fame for years, giving a fresh vision to the Hall of Fame. Based on what Fightful have heard, the plan is to continue it at Bound for Glory. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe button right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.